Where did the Igbos come from? Who are the Igbos? Can you explain that to me? Your own words.
Well, in my own words, I will tell you that I was a student of history,
Okay.
but we didn't discuss or go into Igbo history.
Okay.
And I'm yet to learn more. But one thing is, I was opportune to meet my grandparents, whom from childhood had always made us to understand that we are one of the lost tribes of Israel.
Okay.
So from my grandmother.
Right? Now look at these. I'm telling you, I gotta show y'all. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Just look for yourself. And this is the creme de la creme. All praises be to the Most High, y'all. Everything we've been through, y'all, the Most High is going to retribute it on all the nations that have had a hand in the oppression of his apple, the apple of his eye, his chosen people, his beloved, his fervent lover, his only begotten. They're going to have their part in the lake of fire. You see them tormented by some kind of creature. I don't even know what that even is, y'all. Judgment in chains. He that led into captivity shall go into captivity. All praise to the Most High, y'all. What's up, BC Dynasty? This is your boy, the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Brandon Yeshua or JBZion. Y'all, welcome back to the channel. Show me some love. Show me some love. Welcome back to Zion Dynasty. First, I want to say shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters, my faithful supporters. I love you guys. I couldn't do none of this without you guys. Every comment, when I tell you, I know it might feel like I'm ranting sometimes on some of those. They be like, man, he got a paragraph response. I just love you all so much for just supporting this work, encouraging me. Not just here in the States, but Nigerian brothers and sisters. I just want to thank you all. And also, I want to say shalom to all my faithful Gentile viewers. Those that know what I'm saying, that's rocking with Israel, that know this history. I love you guys as well. So, in today's video, you guys, it's going to be kind of a follow-up. As you guys know, we've been talking a lot about this history. The history of the word Negro, the secret link between the African-American black power groups. Well, not just African-American, but the black power movements around the world, right? We've been showing Marcus Garvey and all these different things. So what we're going to do now, in the previous videos, y'all, check those out. We started talking about Spain and the Nigerian connection. We've been talking about the Sephardic exiles, the Sephardic Jews that come from Spain, that come from Portugal, that ended up on the west coast of Africa on islands such as Sao Tome, and that ended up in the Canary Islands, and that migrated from Morocco, which is the oral tradition of the Yoruba. Now, so we already talked about a lot of that stuff, and we're going to continue with the Moors, the history of the Moors. We're going to talk about, are African Americans actually Moors? Is that an accurate term? So how we're going to start off, you guys, I'm going to show you guys a clip. I'm going to put that on the screen. And this is my true ancestry. So as you guys can see on it, it says that my closest match, which is what most African Americans, if you guys get start a my true ancestry account, all you have to do is take your 23andMe kit and upload it to My True Ancestry, right? It's free, right? For them to tell you this information that I'm going to show you. They can also show you dig sites, actual archaeology of where your DNA has been found throughout different periods in history, right? Different civilizations. They match your DNA on all periods of history, not just contemporary people. So that's why I love My True Ancestry. Because it gives you a true picture of who you are. Because you might have been related to somebody that died a while ago or a different civilization, but modern DNA tests are not going to show that. So as you guys see on My True Ancestry, you see my closest match is Yoruba and Al-Andalus. You also see Yoruba plus more. So basically, I am a Yoruba person, which I already found out from my African ancestry that linked me directly to the Yoruba people of Nigeria. All praises. So my African ancestry told me I was Yoruba of Nigeria on my father's lineage. And on My True Ancestry, it says you're Yoruba. And these Yoruba you descend from were in Al-Andalus, which is Spain. And you were a Moor. So you are a Moorish Yoruba that was in Spain. This coincides with the oral tradition of the Yoruba. I'm going to show you guys that oral tradition. So as you guys see in the oral tradition of the Yoruba, they claim to be Spanish Jews of Yoruba nationality. Iberia is an old term for Spain, or Al-Andalus. So you see these Spanish or Iberian or Al-Andalus Jews of Yoruba nationality known as the B'nai Ephraim. So when I say Yoruba B'nai Ephraim, y'all, there's a lot of history, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of DNA archaeology that goes into me making that statement, right? So there are a lot of scholars that piggyback this oral tradition of the Yoruba. I'm going to show you guys the Ulysses Santa Maria Cambridge source that talks about in southern Nigeria, Yoruba land, right? In that Yoruba area, you have a strange people, or people known as the Imo Yokwayim, right? So now these strange people, they speak a Moroccan or Daraji Arabic dialect mixed with Aramaic and some Yoruba patois, right? They speak this language, they have a Torah scroll, they claim to be descendants from the Israelite tribe of Ephraim, all praises, and that's a Cambridge source. Not just that, but we got our faithful Jewish encyclopedia of the diaspora of the Jewish people that also talks about this same B'nai Ephraim people. Not just that, y'all, but if you don't have this book by Tudor Parfit, From Babylon to Timbuktu, every Israelite that has done their DNA, that have done their history, that know who they are, should own this book. This is one of the pillars of the Hebrew Israelite community. And when I say Hebrew Israelites, I'm talking about those that know our ethnicity. Because people think I'm talking about some cult or something. And ethnicity is a cult? How is ethnicity a cult? All right? So if you don't have Dr. Windsor's book, you got to get it. And in his book, he talks about the Yoruba B'nai Ephraim. So we got the Jewish Encyclopedia. We got Cambridge. All right? We got Dr. Windsor. All right? We got a bunch of different sites of Yorubas themselves talking about it, different people that live there. We have all this credibility that vouches for it. Not just that, but we have Ivy League sources that vouch for it, right? You guys got to get this Oxford book by Edith Bruder. Edith Bruder is one of the proteges of Dr. Tudor Parfit, who is, I mean, a pioneer in researching a lot of these lost tribes, right? Kulanu is the organization that they founded to go research all these scattered Jews. Now, it's crazy because a lot of these white folks that are part of this organization don't really tell black people these things. Like, I had to research into this organization, but I don't think there's enough academic spotlight on this research, right? But Edith Bruder and her Black Jews of Africa, she talks extensively about the B'nai Ephraim of the Yoruba people. I think on pages 145 to 148. Y'all check that book out. Not just that, but we got Harvard, Tudor Parfit, which I alluded to. He has a Harvard forward on the back, Harvard binding, Harvard University Press, everybody endorsing his book. He also talks about the Israelite origin of the Yoruba. So I don't know how many sources that is. I got Cambridge with Ulysses Santa Maria. I got Harvard, Tudor Parfit. I got Oxford, Edith Bruder. I got the oral tradition of the people themselves. I showed you Naraland. I showed you the Hebrew Igbo website that I showed you. I showed you the Jewish Encyclopedia. Not Tudor Parfit, but Dr. Windsor. But yeah, Tudor Parfit too. Y'all, it is so much credibility that talks about these Yoruba B'nai Ephraim. Why are they so important? Their oral tradition is that they come from Morocco. They are Moors. This coincides with my true ancestry results. If y'all do your DNA, this is not just mine. I'm doing this for my people, y'all. All of this research I do into who I am is to show y'all that 90% of y'all are going to have this same result. Why do I say 90? Because some slave white owners did rape black women. So they might be Esau descendants, right? So it's not necessarily a color thing. But if you know your dad's black and his dad's black, boom, you don't even need a DNA test. But this is for those that want to dig deeper into this history, right? The Yoruba and the Igbo were the largest tribes that African Americans were taken from. People think, oh, y'all talking about a race movement, a race gospel, a skin doctrine. They don't understand that in 1607, which was the actual start of Jamestown of the slave trade, but you could say 1619, they chose specific African tribes that went into slavery. I will repeat, these were specific African tribes. This was not a gamble of dice. This was not just a random, they just picked random black people. This was a specific family of West African tribes that were targeted. Why is that important? Because if you can see who they are, you see who we are. and the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Limba, the Beta Israel, the Ashanti, the Gaadangbe, all these people, these West African tribes, these Negro land tribes, these Kingdom of Judah tribes, Lam and Levite cities and pre-exilic Yahwism, these Moorish Negro Jews are who we descend from. They took a small group of these West Africans and spread them through the Americas, North and South, the Caribbean, Europe, and they had millions of offspring. But all of them are still related, is what I'm telling you. So when it looks like, oh, y'all just saying all black people, we're not saying all black people, but it looks like that because there's so many descendants. But they all have a common stock for the most part, right? So all of this is verified, you guys, by so many sources about the Yoruba coming from Morocco when the Jews were banished from Spain. So we need to know our Moorish history. So first of all, the question is, describe those Moors, describe those Jews during that time period. How do we know they were black? Let's go into some detail on how the Jews got there. So first we're going to go to a textbook of the origin of the colored people. This is an old book. If you guys want to research where they straight out said that Negroes are Jews, you got to go to the 1800s. Shout out to Bishop Nathaniel and the amazing work they're doing with IUIC. He has talked a lot about this research, you guys. But you have to go to the books from the 1800s. That's where they were open and sloppy about putting this information in it because they knew niggas couldn't read. So in this book, textbook of the origin of the colored people, on the last page, we see, I'm gonna read that with you guys. We see that the Portuguese who planted themselves on the coast of Africa, now this is talking about the black Portuguese. These are those Spanish Israelites. Portugal is right on the border of Spain. I need to show a map for you guys to understand. So when we say the Jews of the Moors and Jews of Spain and Portugal, it's all the same Iberian Peninsula, right? So the black Portuguese are the Portuguese who planted themselves on the coast of Africa a few centuries ago, have been succeeded by descendants blacker than the Africans. Number two, a stronger case still is to be found in the fact that the descendants of a colony of Jews originally from Judea to the coast of Africa are black. All praises be to the Most High Yah, the mighty one of Yaakov, the Holy One of Israel, for that truth. Check out that last statement, right? A group of Jews originally from Judea that planted themselves in Africa are black. So that means originally they were black and they planted themselves on the coast of Africa and they were always black. What is this telling you? The original Israelites are black. Y'all get that book if you don't have it. So now also we're going to look at J.A. Rogers, Nature Knows No Color Line. As y'all see, I got a lot of books of this stuff, guys. I got books everywhere. I got a book bag full of books. My bookshelf don't have all the books. I got books everywhere. J.A. Rogers, you guys get his book. So in his book, when he talks about the Moors, on page 63, we see him going into the Moors, going into the different Islamic Moors. But understand, you guys, Moor is an ethnicity of African, Afriya, Israelite, Berber people. Some of them practiced Islam. Some of them practiced Torah, right? But they, for the most part, were all Israelites. So let's look at what he says. In the fourth paragraph, the Jews also brought in much Negro strand. Some of the noblest of the Sephardic families, the Sephardic Jews, the Sephardic Israelites, aristocrats of Jewry, were Negroes. Isaac da Costa mentions sons and grandsons of Don Yahia bin Yahish. Yahia bin Yahish is Yahya Negro III. Or his, I think his Yahish bin, they all named themselves after Yahya Negro, but it's like 1,000 descendants, y'all. If I butcher all their names, y'all bear with me. But it's so many descendants of the Yahyas. You had Haya al-Dahudi, which was like the grandfather of Yahya Negro. Then you had Yahiash bin the first, the second, the third, a bunch of offshoots. They say the Abarbanels are related to them. It's a lot. So I'm not going to go too deep into the lineage, but just know there were Negro Israelites, Sephardic Israelites. These Sephardic Moors were black, you guys. Originally from Judea, they were dark-skinned people. Yahya Negro, his name, he actually changed his last name to Negro, right? This happened when the king of Portugal needed some help against some of the Moors. Now, this is a little shysty when you kind of think about it. He was like, he sided with the Portuguese king, but he sided with the Portuguese king and cleared out some of the Moors and was given the village of the blacks, or that land that the Moors had, right? But what we don't understand is Yaya Negro, a lot of his descendants were the ones that migrated deeper into Africa. A lot of his descendants were the wealthier people in Spain, the wealthier, noble Sephardic families that were able to get the money that they needed to be able to escape Spain before the banishment. Because some of them weren't allowed to get out of there. Some of them were raised up as Christians and became Lancados. But the noble, original Judean Sephardic Israelites of the descendant of David, these were Negroes, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys some more information on it. So when you look at, now I'm gonna show you guys some books. Now these books are kind of pricey on Amazon, but Heresy and the Politics of Community is a good book. And also the Book of the Tradition, Ha-Kabbalah, that goes into the history of Kabbalah, the history of Jews defending themselves against Islam and Christianity, a lot of that history. But check out, this is by Abraham ibn Dawid. The Dawid family, now this guy's in Morocco. The Dawid family were known to be in Morocco. Y'all understand what I'm saying? A lot of the David family were in Morocco. A lot of the Afrati family were in Morocco, right? I showed you guys the Jewish virtual library. I might pick that clip up. I showed you guys the Jerusalem library that talks about Abraham Ha-Afrati. I showed you a website that was talking about the Banu Ephraim, which is from Wifran, Ephraimites, that is said to be where Africa got its name from, the people of Afri, right? Because they gave the Romans the biggest opposition when they were coming in there. So y'all check up all that history. The reason I'm bringing up all these Moorish, Moroccan, Mauritanian Israelites is because they all were ethnically Israelites. The Moors were ethnically Israelites, but a lot of them changed their name to Arabic names. They are Arabicized and that kind of thing. And they united under Islam to be able to overcome the Christians in the north of Spain, right? So now we're going to go into, I'm going to show you guys a definition of Moor, in case you guys think I'm just... So in Light and Truth, this is another old forgotten book, you guys, going back to the 1800s. If you look at Light and Truth goes into the definition of Moor. You see swarthy, you see blackamoor, you see dark, you see all these, right? So Moor is similar to Negro, which is similar to black. But as you change the term, you detract our ethnicity. It's like white rice. You're taking away from the substance. Black is just a color, you guys. But Negro is Spanish. So it shows you that Spanish history. And more specifically, no pun intended, shows you our Spanish, Moorish, Israelite history. So all of this stuff is connected, you guys. So in Light and Truth, if you go to that next page refers to the Judean people as Moors. That's amazing, you guys. Let me read that with you guys. So on the first page, we see the word Negro comes from the Latin term Niger, meaning black. We also see Moor is marsh, a fen, Negro. So the word Moor and Negro were synonymous. Understand? We see Moor is fenny, marshy. We see Negro, blackamoor, right? We see black equals Negro, a dark color, mourning, all of these different bywords that we're called today, because we come from these Moorish people. Now this is page 339. Now if you go to page 340, let's look at this. Now let's skip down to that first full paragraph beginning with Micah. Micah, the Moorishite, a prophet of the Moors, prophesied in the days of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and spake to all the people of Judah, the Moors, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, Zion shall be plowed like a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps. All praises be to the Most High God. Look at the power in these old books, you guys. So we see that the Israelite Judeans were called the people of Judah, or the Moors, and that the prophets of the Moors were Moorish. This is white folks saying, wink, wink. We know that the Jews and Moors of Spain were really one ethnicity. Some of the black Moors practiced Torah, and some of these black Moors practiced Islam, but they all were the same people. Now, what happened to these people? We went into it, you guys. The Christian North, initially, they got a lot of use from these Israelites. You had people like Isaac Abarbanel. Now, this is that Abarbanel David family that I talked about, Yaya Negro. And they managed the money. They were clever. They were articulate. So the Christians in the North said, well, we can use y'all. But over time, they began to fear the growing influence of the Moors. And they thought that the Moors were going to not just take over Iberia, but Europe. So Europe and the Christian church, let's talk about it, united together. Y'all check this out. To band together to stop those Moors and push them back into Africa. That is their history. And this is summed up in Seville and began around 1300s, but officially in 1481, known as the Spanish Inquisition. During the Spanish Inquisition, you had Christians that were investigating every Israelite, because some of our people were saying that we were Christians just to blend in and be treated fairly amongst these white folks, but they investigated that thing. And if you were found out to be a crypto or a secret Jew, you were put to death. Now let me show you some of these books, you guys. So this is Harvard. I'm gonna show you guys that table of contents, that Harvard stamp and all that good stuff. E.H. Lindo and the Jews of Spain and Portugal. In this book, we see him talking about how one Negro was suspected of being an Israelite, and they screamed heresy, heresy. They dragged him by the hair to the doors of the church, where they burned the Negro alive in the church. This is what the Christian church was doing. So when y'all wonder why people come against these Christians, this is why. A lot of you do not know this history, that the Christian church was set up to oppress our people, the Israelite people. Now, it's a deep psychology that goes behind it. A lot of them thought that they were doing God's will. They said, well, you guys got Christ crucified. You guys served your purpose. You were meant to bring Christ into the scene. But this is what they indoctrinated the Christian masses with. The leaders knew that they were Esau, that they were Edom, that they were the Gentile power construct, that God would judge them for what they did to his people. But they spread this notion of the church replacing Israel, and you had a lot of my forefathers in particular, Abraham, David, the book I showed you, the book of the tradition. A lot of these clever intellectual Jews practiced hermeneutics to be able to fight against a lot of this replacement theology and this Christianized Roman Catholic stuff that was trying to do away with our forefathers, trying to do away with our right to exist, trying to do away with us being the chosen people. This is the same spirit that is going on today in the Christian church. A lot of the tenets of Christendom, and we're going to do videos on the Trinity, the virgin birth. I'm going to put it out there, you guys. I know it's Easter, Christmas, replacement theology, white Jesus, all of these tenets that are fundamental. A lot of these tenets are based on Roman ideology. The Council of Nicaea and a lot of other previous meetings of these minds to be able to come up with a way to rip the baby out of the womb of Zion, and we're going to have the baby, but we don't want to have nothing to do with the people. This is the spirit that a lot of these Christians are walking with. You say you love the Most High, but you reject his people. You say that you, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer in the God of the Bible, but I reject the people of the Bible. So he grafted you in out of mercy, but you're going to discard his firstborn, and you think the love of the Father is inside you? You are sadly mistaken. So now let's look at another work, you guys. Joseph Christoph. Joseph Christoph goes into the evils of the Christian church and what they did against our people. If you were caught naming your kids Hebrew names, all of my kids are named Hebrew names, every one of them. Eliana, my daughter, or my second daughter. My first son, well, Elijah's my firstborn, my son. Elijah Aryeh Jeslan Ben Zion. Eliana, Lisa Jordan Ben Zion. All of our kids, Aaliyah, Abigail Rose Ben Zion. All of our kids, and I'm going to show you guys some clips of my baby girl. She just was born like a week ago. My third girl, my third child. But as you guys see, our people were catching hell for that kind of stuff. Growing their beards out, saying they didn't eat pork. If they were cleaning their clothes on the Sabbath, y'all. If they were kindling a fresh fire for the Sabbath, trying to honor God on the Sabbath. doing stuff like keeping the feast days, keeping the Day of Atonement, doing any of these feast days and keeping any of these rituals like the Sabbath, circumcision, not eating pork, if we were keeping Torah, we caught hell, you guys, during the time of the Inquisition. A lot of that, this is Harvard level. Jews and Moors of Spain by Joseph Christoph. You guys get that book, it should be on Amazon. So a lot of this history is what they don't tell us, y'all. We are the Moors. We are those Moorish Israelites. We are those Sephardic families, descendants of Dan Yahya, descendants of the Nagid, right? The noblest of the families of Zion that were in Spain. Another thing that I told you guys about was if you get a Sefer Bible, the Sefer Bible, y'all check this out. The Sefer goes into the history. Understand? The Sefer goes into the history of Paul a little bit deeper. My Sefer Bible has an extra chapter of Acts in it. Acts, the 29th chapter. Why did they take that chapter out? Because the chapter reveals that Paul went to Spain next. Why did he go to Spain? Because according to the book of Obadiah and a lot of other books, the exiles of Zion were prophesied to be in Sephardic, or Spain. The Israelites in Judea, in Europe, already knew about these Sephardic noble families like the Danyayas, the Abarbanels, the Ibn Dawid family. They already knew about these Nasi Davidic noble Israelites that lived in Spain. So now this sheds light on Paul's mission. Paul was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Doesn't that sound familiar? Matthew 15:24, where Yeshua said it himself, that I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Paul's mission didn't change. He was going to the European countries, the Western Asian countries, even in Africa, to pursue after these Hellenized diaspora of Israelites. And Acts chapter 29 goes into that thing. So I'm going to show you guys a Harvard source that argues that the Gentiles that Paul went to were actually the lost 10 tribes. I'm going to show you guys that. So what we had going on in Spain, it's a lot of history, you guys, was we had these Christians attacking Israelite Moors for keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. If you were Moor, even if you practiced Islam, if they knew you were an Israelite, you were catching hell. This is the history they don't want to talk about. Because our people were ruling from 711 AD under Tariq al-Zayd, the Umayyad Caliphate, all the way through 1492 when Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand banished us up out of Granada. Because Granada was the last southern stronghold for our people. I have results from my true ancestry that I'm going to insert for you guys as well and show you that my DNA of E1B1A went back to Al-Bayasin, that became a Jewish ghetto town on a hill where they kept all the Jews at. Right? I have all this history. I'm going to show you guys. So as you see, our people were banished and they went into the tip of Africa through the Gibraltar Strait, i.e. Morocco. Estimated 400 to 800,000 according to Henry Gratz and a lot of scholars, you guys. And this is where the oral tradition of the Yoruba comes in, because they have this history. How do they have this history? Did they make it up? How would they have known if the Yoruba are confined to the region of Nigeria? Either they're that people or a group of that people had to come to give them this idea, because there's no way they would have known all the way to the year of 1492 that their people came from Morocco after the Jews were banished from Spain. So, as you guys saw, all of this stuff connects back together to the foundation, which is the oral tradition of our people. I'm telling y'all, when you give back to the thing that gave you life, that is the purest form of worship of the Creator. When you honor your forefathers, when you esteem their oral tradition, when you trust in what they know, God, the Most High, the Creator that sustains you through your people, will reveal who you are by giving back to those that came before you. I took the oral tradition of the Yoruba as the gospel. Y'all understand. When I found out through African ancestry that I was Yoruba, I said, I'm going to look up everything Yoruba. And it kept coming up. Israel, 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 Israel. Every bit of their oral tradition, the Jewish Encyclopedia, the Harvard, Edith Bruder, Oxford, Cambridge sources, Ulysses Santa Maria, The people themselves were messaging me. Yeah, we're the Israelites. We have not just Ephraim, but Judah and Benjamin and Naphtali and Manasseh. All of this kept flooding me, and I said, okay, let me find a common oral tradition that I keep running across. And that was that B'nai Ephraim oral tradition that's vouched for everywhere. So I said, I'm going to hold the tradition of my forefathers as the gospel and watch as the Most High confirms that thing. And he has done it, y'all. Everything the Yoruba B'nai Ephraim have said about coming from Morocco. I talked about the Afriat family, the Afrati family. I got the Jerusalem library that talks about that. The Jewish virtual library that talks about that. These Moroccan, Wifran, Ifran, Banu Ifran people, right? These Afri people that Daya and Abraham Ha'afrati fought against invaders. They don't tell you that our people fought against colonization. This people is where the Yoruba came from when they were banished from that region of Maghreb and Spain in 1492. So with that, y'all, we are the Moors. We are Moors. There is no reason for two separate entities of the Moors got a group and the Hebrew Israelites. All of these different groups, I'm telling y'all, it's because we don't communicate together. And we don't know that we're united. We're all saying the same thing. When you do history into DNA, you see, wait, that's where the Moors got that from. So with that, y'all, in the next video, we're going to talk about Islam. Because Islam was the religion that a lot of our Israelite forefathers practiced. And we're going to ask ourselves, is Islam the religion, the true religion of the black man? So with that, y'all, peace, love, blessings, and black power to the chosen race of the Most High Yah. I love you guys with the love of Messiah. All praises. Shalom.